Hello, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We're All Psychic. And today I want to talk about mental breakdowns a little bit. Not much though. But I really want to tell you I still think we're all psychic. And I want to talk about walking the spiritual talk. What am I talking about? Well, having a belief, really strong belief. Maybe you're not the only one with it. Maybe there's lots of people who believe it. And you want to live that way so bad. You don't want to get judged. You just want to live that way. And that's kind of what I do with my spirituality. I mean, I do a podcast about it and a lot of fun doing this podcast. And I really believe this stuff. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom and hard. There are good times, when you get through the hard stuff. Or maybe there's no hard stuff for you. Today, I want to kind of talk a little bit about experiences I've had recently in walking the talk I do on this podcast. Because when I was younger, I didn't have much of a voice because I didn't talk. I didn't talk much. I would never speak my truth, you could say, in this field. A lot of people, if you're new in this field of metaphysics, energy work, psychic work, spiritualist work, mediumship works, witchcraft, any of them, they're going to say, speak your truth, be your truth, walk in your truth, love yourself. They'll say a lot of stuff like this. What we mean, and what I think we mean, is the only thing we can know for sure, 100% accuracy, is what we feel. That's all we know. Well, I don't know anything otherwise. I don't know what you think and feel. I'm just experiencing how I experience what you think and feel. How the spirit tells me you think and feel. We have words, and the energy system is such a gift because we can really communicate so much more than just words that we all have different meanings for. I've said that many times from the first podcast. It's off the point, though. It's just words, right? I'm just saying a bunch of stuff. Well, how do you walk that walk? I mean, that talk, walk that way, talk this way. Well, it doesn't make a lot of people happy when you walk in your truth. I guess you could say. And I want to talk a little bit about astrology. I study astrology. And you guys, if you've been listening to this podcast, and this is a video podcast on Spotify. Oh, my heat just turned on. Well, we're going to leave it. If you've been listening and watching this podcast listening from the beginning, or have, one of the things I really care passionately about is linguistics and the way we all understand words differently from our own experiences. But with energy work, we can have the same experience almost exactly. It's kind of interesting, and we all do. That's the only time we really connect with one another and say, wow, I felt that. Wow, did you feel that? I was in a band. Well, I wasn't in the band. I wanted to be in the band so bad. There was a friend who lived down the street in Decatur, and they had a band. And the girlfriend of the guitar player was a good friend of mine. I'd go down there and see her, and I listened to the band. And one day I was just playing on the keyboard with her boyfriend and the drummer and the bass player. And the guitar player turns to me and he goes, oh, after we finished the song, he's like, did you feel that? He says, did you feel it? And I was like, yeah, I felt it. Yeah. I knew what he meant though. It's the jam, the connection, the feeling. How else do you say it? Did you feel that? And you don't say, did you see it? Did you hear it? What do you do with it? What is that when you're jamming and you just get that vibe? You're in a trance like the sound current that we talked about in podcasts recently. It's just like you're in a jam, you're in that place. And that's when you're really walking the talk, when you're in your jam, I guess, and you're connecting to other people with it. That's really incredible. And it's hard to do this podcast alone, for example, but I will do it. So, he says that to me, and I was like, yeah, I feel it. It's a great feeling, connection. And that's when a real connection can be formed for me personally, my personal spirituality. And I did a podcast during my meltdown. And the reason I had a meltdown is I'm kind of having to accept that I have PTSD from a lot of things. I don't want to. The last time I went into a psychiatrist, I had to fill out the typical paperwork, and I was checking every box for PTSD, and I'm like, oh my God, I have that too. It's just a label, it's a name, it's a term, it's a word, it's a term that helps me identify what I'm dealing with so I can communicate it to other people. And I have, but they aren't listening, some of them. Some of them are. That's been great, but that's not really, to me, what I know. What I know is that I feel this way and I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to trust my spiritual path. It's where I'm going to fall back on when I'm going through something really difficult. And it works for me. I light my candles. I burn some sage. It's hard to do. I don't want to do it. I just want to cry and hide and stuff. And if there's no friends or anybody there, sometimes when you really need someone and they aren't there, they're always there. There's really no one. There really isn't. Or is there? And a friend of mine, Miriam, said, I have sensed 3 spirits in your apartment. She told me a little bit about them, and I started noticing them. And one of them, in my new apartment, I did move. By the way, I moved again. Yes, I escaped. But I have a great keyboard or digital piano. And this one spirit, she's told me about, likes to tap the keys every once in a while. And when it's turned off, and I hear the keys go, there's no cat. I'm looking at it, and I'll just hear it go, So I've told the spirit, I will play keys for you later. Is that true? It happened to me. And the cats looked. So, I had validation that way, too. Because, why did they look? They heard it, too. But what was that? I was trying to figure it out. I was like, oh, wait. That was a keyboard key going down. That was 3 or 4 of them going, like a little drum. It sounded like a beat on the keys. Like someone jumped. It was. There's a spirit doing that, I think. Who knows? But that's what I think. And the cats looked, and I have this impression that as soon as I do this podcast, I have told her, anyway, I will play some piano with her after the podcast. I'm on a mission to do this podcast today. And that's part of walking the spiritual talk. I said I'd do this podcast. I'm going to do it. I made the cover. I was like, I'm going to do this podcast. Yeah. But that's just me personally. That's my personal spirituality. That's my personal belief. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. That's just all I know. And I don't always know what I feel. That's a real weird feeling. So I had kind of a medical trauma when I was in my 20s. And not good. But I also had a lot all through my life. But that one was really bad. Really, really bad. And I was talking to a psychiatrist. And long story short, I was very upset with the outcome, and it triggered a PTSD episode. I didn't know what that was until I just went through it. And it's not fun. It really sucks. And I'm very sympathetic to anyone who goes through PTSD right now. I've known a lot of people who had it, and I didn't realize I have been dealing with it pretty much my whole life from medical trauma and neglect. So that is something I'm really trying to work through personally. But I'm going with it from a spiritual approach. What does that look like for you? What does that look like for me? What does that look like for anyone? I think it's really everybody's own way. That's the whole point of my type of spirituality, is to find who I am and express it most authentically and with most compassion I can. And that's what Jesus taught, right? Compassion. And that's what Kuan Yin teaches. And that's what Buddha taught. And that's what all the religions really teach compassion now. And at the root of it is compassion and the golden rule. Treat others like you want to be treated. That being what religion has that. Treat everyone like you want to be treated. Or don't throw the first stone. Or, throw the first stone if you... I don't know that one too well, but I know what it used to... what is it exactly? Ye who throws... Ye with no sin, throw the first stone or something. I don't know. But... I cut everybody out of my life, and then I had to make some apologies, but I didn't make apologies to everybody. I have to make boundaries because some of the people I had to tell what they did that hurt me really badly. I didn't have to. I did, though. And that's what it looks like for me walking on the spiritual path. And when I did it badly, I apologized. And today I got in touch with an old friend that I really said some horrible things to during this. And I let him know, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. That was what it looks like to me to walk the spiritual path. I'm trying to be compassionate and trying to understand myself and trying to explain to people why I did or said something when they didn't deserve it. And from my opinion, deserve it, that's still something I think and feel. I don't know. No one feels like they deserve being reamed ever. And I'm trying to get that reamed anger, rage that I was taught and I have PTSD from out of me. So, and also energy work really I've been seeing energy healers who pull this energy right out of me. And I'm learning these techniques to, like, if you work with the energy, you might see it. Like, I'm pulling it right out of I envision it. But if you're an energy worker and you're watching the video, you can probably see it coming out. I can feel it coming out. But to me, my truth is that it feels like there is a smoke or cloud or something like that. And pulling it out, and it's right here. I don't see it with my eyes. I can feel it. I feel this stuff. Pulling it out. I just throw it out the window. It's imagery. It's like basic psychology, Tell yourself you're doing it. I can feel it. A lot of people can. My spirituality. And I don't want to walk that way. And it looks like for me what I just told you. While I was in my mental breakdown moments, I did do a podcast, but I did not post it. And I was like, oh, I don't have to look at this tomorrow. And I looked at it the next day, and I was like, I can't post that. And I even edited it. So this is kind of crazy. After I record this podcast, I may post that podcast for a bonus episode that will be up for 3 days. After I watch it again, I'm going to make that decision, and I'll leave that up to you. If it shows up, if you want to watch a bonus episode, you go ahead and watch someone have a breakdown, or in the middle of a breakdown with a PTSD trigger who walks a spiritual path, and what they did about it later, if that helps you. Or if you just want to watch and it entertains you. I don't care. Just want to put this out there for anyone else who wants to feel validated by walking their spiritual path. For whatever reason you do, or walking and speaking in your truth, or trying to seek that in your life. And that's just what you're up to. And that's how you feel. That's what I'm doing. I think a lot of people are. And it's really so good to have that connection. It's hard for me to connect to people. It always has been. I've always looked for people to love me for who I am. But I didn't act like myself, really, when I was younger. Because I was taught that I had to earn love. I was taught I had to, that's what I think anyway, that's how I feel. I was taught that I had to earn someone's love. Anyone's love and affection. I had to do the right thing, whatever they said. Otherwise, I didn't get love. Say what they said. Otherwise, I didn't get love. That's what it felt like to me. And that's experience I had. So, of course, I brought more of that into my life because that was what I was used to. This is what my path teaches me to look at. And that's why I love it, because I can get through it and change, and I can grow from it, and then forgive and let go, and then be angry anymore. Kind of in the middle of it all. And aiming for the stars. And I'll keep walking. And I'll keep walking for a while. We have a great episode coming up, guys. It is a guy named, I think, David, on Thursday, and I have a stand-in with Miriam if she's well. And if she's not, I think Donna might stand in. I haven't talked to her yet, though, or Nijo. I don't know. I'll find somebody. If there's no one can, I will. By myself. Because I got to walk it. I got to walk the walk. And part of walking that walk is doing this podcast. Because I love doing it. I love meeting the people I've met and learning the things I've learned. And I love that anyone watches and listens and learns from this. The people who I've met through this podcast are some of the most enlightened people I've ever met. And they're geniuses to me. They're all rock stars and they all teach me something, but I don't know, I love learning and I love philosophies and I love magic and I love mysteries. I want to know it all. I want to know it all. I won't, probably, because you can't know anything unless you feel it. But if you work with the energy, you can feel it. Feel is the right word. The no-nos, I guess. It's not really a no-no. It's a feel. That doesn't sound right. No feel? No feel. Feel no. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. Listeners and watchers, I love you, and I love Everclear, my sponsor. Everclear is an advice app and website where you can get advice from psychics and empaths. You can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve from any advisor on Everclear. Thank you so much, Everclear. Thank you, watchers and listeners. I love you guys, and I'll see you Thursday or probably Friday morning. Peace out.